Now in news just coming in, 8 Indians who were held in detention by the authorities in Qatar have been sentenced to death. The judgment is passed by the Court of First Instance of Qatar. The Indian government has issued a statement saying that it is deeply shocked by the verdict of death penalty and are awaiting the detailed judgment. The Indian External Affairs Ministry says that they are in touch with the family members and the legal team and are exploring all legal options. New Delhi maintains that the matter is of high importance and that it will take up the verdict with Qatari authorities. The 8 men were employees of the Dahra company. They were being kept in confinement in Doha since August last year. Now for more on this, our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibul is joining us live from New Delhi. Siddhant, what is the latest you have for us at this moment?
Well, earlier today, we know that a Qatari court came up with its judgment on the case, saying that the death penalty is announced for the 8 Indian nationals. Now, they are ex-sailors and they were employed by a company in Qatar. Now, we need to tell our viewers that nobody knows the charges against them. Only the court knows what are the charges pressed against them by the authorities. So, we have heard reports, but there is no clarity. The second, of course, the Indian stance. Today, the Indian government said they are shocked about it. But over past few months since the detention started, the Indian government has said that this is a legal process and it will be supplying, of course, the amount of resources for the Indian nationals who are in a problem. In fact, we know that the Indian embassy officials have been in touch with the family members of these Indian nationals who are under the Qatari custody. Now, what happens next is the big question. Now, this is a judgment which is announced by a court in Qatar, so they have the option of appealing against the judgment, and this is something that will be closely watched.
Right. You mentioned a legal recourse. What kind of legal recourse can India take hereafter?
Well, that is the only legal recourse they have is of the right to appeal, and it is given that they are expected to appeal against the sentence. We are still awaiting more details as to what is the judgment like. But remember, Qatar is a state which has its own worldview, and this is a country where information coming out is a difficult task. What we are getting so far is the Indian government, their view about it, because there is no official on-record comment by the Qatari government ever on this case. Whatever has happened either has come from the families of these sailors, the ex-Indian sailors, or from the Indian government. In fact, today's announcement of the sentence came from the Indian government release, the MEA release, which said that the Qatari court has announced a death penalty against these ex-Indian sailors.
Right, Siddhant, you make a fair point. There's a lot to unravel in this case, and only after that we'll be able to decode what this will mean for the relations of the two countries as well. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast and getting us the latest, Siddhant.